Thursday night football, the Atlanta Falcons travel to Charlotte to take on the Carolina Panthers in a divisional showdown. Today, I got my favorite player prop, spread pick, same game parlay, and a first touchdown score for this contest. What's going on? My name's Austin from Calling Our Shot. Last week wasn't the greatest week for our picks. I'll pull up our full record on the screen, but we're going to keep diving into it. This week is feeling like a good one. And if you want to find out our favorite spread picks for Sunday, the video is already live on the channel. Go click it. The thumbnail looks exactly like the one you're seeing on the screen right now. I don't have any other things to say besides hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you're new. Let's dive right into it. If you ever need any Sportsbook sign-up bonuses, they're all linked down below. Let's hop right into my player prop for this game, but I'm going to a Panthers running back. His name's D'Onta Foreman. I'm taking his over, 53.5 rushing yards, minus 115 on DraftKings. Now, at the moment, as I record this on Wednesday afternoon, and this video goes live Wednesday nights, 24 hours in advance of kickoff, they don't have a line on FanDuel. Now, I expect them to put out a line. It should be close to this one, and maybe it's because they're still waiting to see what Chuba Hubbard's status is. But either way, Foreman should be the lead guy in this backfield for the Panthers. And as I look at the weather forecast, and by no means I'm not a meteorologist, rain is expected at kickoff and pretty much to the majority of the game. Now, I'm not banking on the rain being there, but it would certainly help this bet with Foreman. They'd probably lean on the run a little bit more. I did look at a guy like Terrace Marshall Jr., his over in receiving yards. That's an interesting one, but if it's rainy, that would scare me off of that. And even if it doesn't rain, Foreman's still going to get his chances. You look at since trading away Christian McCaffrey, Foreman assumed that running back one role on this team, and while he's not playing 99% of the snaps, he's getting a lot of the rushing attempts, which is what you want to see. Now in those 3 weeks since CMC was traded, he's at 118, and then 23 rushing yards, which was last week. Now, can you blame the Panthers from just abandoning the run? No, not really. He only had 7 carries for 23 rushing yards, but the Panthers were down 35-0 at halftime. What did you want them to do? Continue to run the football? They had to keep throwing it in the second half, and that didn't even pan out too well. And this game I expect to be a little bit closer than that 35-0 blowout last week. And you saw them lean on Foreman when they needed him to, and he had 118 rushing yards in those 2 games that were actually close. And that one of those games was against the Falcons. So he's had good track records against them. He had 118 rushing yards just 2 weeks ago. And that was just with a long carry of just 16 yards. It wasn't like he had a 70-yard run that accounted for all his yards. No, only a 16-yarder was his longest. He was continuously getting 3, 4, 5, 6 yards per carry. And I think that's what the Panthers are going to want to lean on Thursday night. The Falcons' rush defense hasn't been great this year. Neither has their pass defense, but the rush defense, 4.8 yards per carry, 11th highest in the NFL, giving up the 6th most 20-plus yard rushes, the 3rd most 40-plus yard rushes, and look, Foreman is a guy that's already broken off a 60-yard rush this year. He did it against the Buccaneers 3 weeks back, and I expect him to see well over 10 carries today, and I think he's going to have a pretty good game. You look at 9 running backs have had 10 or more carries against this Falcons defense. 5 of them easily cleared this number. 2 of them only had 10 rushing attempts. All 9 of these guys have all had 44 or more rushing yards, so coming within 10 of this line, and I just think Foreman's going to see more than 10 rushing attempts on Thursday. I think he sees closer to, 13 to 18, somewhere in that range, and I think he's a good enough carrier. He's a guy that's hard to tackle, very Derrick Henry, kind of Aldi brand-esque. He's very good. I mean, speaking of, he was back up to Derrick Henry last year. I think he's going to play pretty well. The Panthers don't need to see P.J. Walker throwing it a ton after P.J. Walker's debacle last week. I know he had a good game against the Falcons 2 weeks ago. I don't think they really want to see him try to duplicate those efforts. I'm not leaning on D'Onta Foreman. I think the Panthers will as well. I'll take his over 53.5 rushing yards. I don't care if Chuba Hubbard's back. They still want to give the ball to D'Onta Foreman. He's a better runner this so far into their careers than Chuba Hubbard is, who's more of a pass catcher, I think, in their eyes. So I really do like D'Onta Foreman. I think he has a big day. Take his over 53.5 rushing yards. If you want to ladder him, it's probably not a bad ladder to go with. Now, as for my game pick, it went both ways on this one, but I'll be riding with, drumroll please, the Atlanta Falcons, minus 2.5, minus 115 on DraftKings. Now, I was going to take them at minus 3, and then as I was about to hit record, I saw the line shift to 2.5, and so I'm going to take that. Now, you can go on the money line if you want to be safer. If you want to take the minus 3, fine with that too. You get probably plus 100-ish value, but I think the 2.5 is obviously the safest one in case this is a field goal game. And let's talk about this one, because given our player prop, we have D'Onta Foreman's rushing yards over. Hypothetically, we should go 1-1 at worst in this game. If the Falcons are getting blown out, well, D'Onta Foreman's going to see a lot of rushing attempts, barring not getting injured. And if the Falcons are blowing out the Panthers, then we'll at least cash a spread pick. But I think there's a realistic world where we go 2-0 on both these props, because we went 2-0 if you would have taken these identical props in their first showdown a couple weeks back. And I don't see this game being a blowout either way. I think this is going to be a close divisional, contest. I don't see either of these teams being, much better than the other team, but It's worth noting the Panthers have really stunk against the spread since 2021. They're 8-18 against the spread, second worst. Or not, no, that's the worst in the NFL. At home, they're 4-9 against the spread since 2021. That's the second worst. Actually, the only team worse at home against the spread, Atlanta Falcons. Now, I just trust, and as crazy as it is to say it, I trust Marcus Mariota over PJ Walker in this game. I know it sounds crazy, but I think this game is going to come down to Marcus Mariota making plays on the ground and PJ Walker or Baker Mayfield, whoever's out there, not being able to do that. I know both these teams are ugly, and if you don't want to bet a spread in this, I don't blame you. But I think we have a Falcons team that still has hope for this season. They're sitting at, 4-5. Still got hope. Maybe they can make the playoffs. You never really know. They're sitting right around there on that wild card. They could still win the division. And then you got the Panthers, who kind of stinking it up. I mean, they're 2-7 at the moment. And they don't really have, I think they're probably aiming more towards a top, QB than they really want, a mid-round pick. I just don't trust the Panthers and their winning aspirations at the moment. I know it's a Thursday night football, still short turnaround. If you look at the Falcons' recent schedule, they've just been going flip-flopping, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. They lost last week to the Chargers. I think they win this one, do it by at least 3 points. So give me the Falcons -2.5. They're going to try to go for that sweep of the Panthers. I think they're the better team. I don't think the Panthers are capable of scoring 34 points like they did last time against the Falcons. Just think the Falcons are the more complete team, probably better, well-coached team too. So give me the Falcons. I'll take them -2.5 as my spread pick of the video. But let's do a same-game parlay. And I really wanted to put Foreman's over in rushing yards, but I'm going to do this on FanDuel to take advantage of their no-sweat same-game parlay. So I'm going to do 2 touchdown scores and an under. I'm taking Cordarrelle Patterson anytime touchdown, Deontay Foreman anytime touchdown, and then just taking an alt under 57.5 points. You could probably lower that to whatever DraftKings has it as well. I don't see this being a high-scoring game. We'll talk about that in a second. This is plus 530 on FanDuel. So taking advantage of that no-sweat same-game parlay insurance that they got. Now, I think both starting running backs get into the end zone. These guys, the 2 most likely guys to score a touchdown. Cordarrelle Patterson had 2 touchdowns last week, and Deontay Foreman, when they're getting close, going to be the guy that gets the ball. Falcons giving up the 3rd most rushing yards this season to running backs, just in general, 3rd most rushing touchdowns. And the Panthers, they're more middle of the pack, but the Patterson's, he's able to do it in the ground, in the air. He can do it all, and he had 2 rushing touchdowns last week in his return. He only played like 40% of the snaps. Maybe sees more of an uptick in snaps, and he's the guy they trust at the goal line. They rather him than Algier or Huntley. And like I said, he could catch a touchdown too. Cordarrelle Patterson can do it all. I like both these 2 guys to get into the end zone, and I'll just take the alt under 57.5. I know people might be looking at an over. They're like, oh, it's 2 teams combined for what? I don't know, 71 points in their first contest. I just don't think they go for that many points. I mean, it took a lot of points in the 4th quarter to get that. Basically, half the points came in the 4th quarter. So I don't think this is as high-scoring game as people anticipate. Although I wouldn't be mad if it was, because that would be cool for a Thursday night football game that really doesn't have a lot of sex appeal to it. But I do think this under 57.5 is pretty safe. I mean, it's like -1100 on FanDuel. So those 3 legs, plus 530 on FanDuel. Sure, sign me up. We got a chance on that one. Now let's move on. First touchdown score. What do you guys think? If you were to sit back, what do you think for a first touchdown score? You could go Cordarrelle. You could go Deontay. I'm going to go Kyle Pitts, plus 1,400 on BetMGM. Now, at the Kyle Pitts, some games he doesn't even get a single reception. But I think, is this the Kyle Pitts breakout game? Maybe he has 3 touchdowns when nobody expects it on a Thursday night. Maybe. If they're in the red zone, he's a tall guy. They could throw it up to him. I just think you saw Isaiah Likely score a touchdown as the first touchdown scorer on Monday Night Football. Why not Kyle Pitts? He's obviously probably the most talented guy on the field, arguably. He can go up over anyone, just needs a chance, and I think he got a chance. He could also break a tackle on a route and easily take it to the house. So 1,400 odds, sir. I'll sprinkle on it. It's an absolute dart throw. But those are my favorite picks. Panthers versus Falcons. Let me know your favorite picks down below. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. NFL Week 10, Best Bets video popping up right over my face. Go click the video. Definitely will enjoy that one. We're bouncing back this week. You got my word. We're going to bounce back. Have a good week. I'll see you guys back again in normal videos every single morning. Peace out.